I'm back with another surprise egg challenge video. These are easy to make usually, but this one took me a while. Got 3 eggs as usual. I'm going to make a monster out of whatever I find in these 3 eggs. They're all the animal eggs, so that all of them are going to have nicely detailed animals, perfect for monster making. Here's a rhino. I've had a lot of rhinos now. That one time I got 2 rhinos at once. Standard rhino. I want to do something different with the rhino this time, something that I didn't do last time. Second egg. I don't know what this is, a gazelle? Very interestingly shaped head. It's an animal I've not seen before. Excited for this one. And the third animal is either a llama or an alpaca. Very interesting textures on this. That's very interesting. Obviously it's supposed to read as fur, but what I saw was the potential to make something with the flesh of a maggot. So we're going to be painting the fur up as if it were flesh, I think. So one of the go-to things when doing these kind of videos or these projects is to just turn something upside down and see what it looks like. I turned the gazelle upside down, it looked like walrus tusks, so I decided to embed the whole gazelle face upside down inside the rhino's body. It already looks like some sort of weird alien spider with the 4 ears. I don't think the eyes are going to be visible once I paint it, so it's going to have no eyes probably. Doing the standard glue and bicarb or baking powder, not sure what the difference is when you're using it in this context. To go with the insect theme, I'm going to use the llama body to create those maggoty skin folds, as I mentioned earlier. And then that leaves me with the body of the gazelle, which means I've got 4 extra legs. I can give this thing 3 legs to make it into kind of like a hooved spider thing. Standard, again, super glue, bicarb makes an instant, really strong join. It also fills in gaps. I'm going to be doing a lot of experimenting in this build, as I always experiment when I'm doing these Kinder ones because they're small and they let me try new things out. Here's the rhino horn. I'm going to use it as sort of like a stinger, or sort of like a dual stinger, because there's a big horn and a little horn. I like using things I've used before, but trying to find new contexts for them. Yeah, so as mentioned, here's some Mod Podge, which I think could be interchangeable with maybe PVA glue, but mixed with super glue, as we know, mixed with skin. But then I'm going to add some bicarb to make it harden. It also gives it a texture. And I'm trying to experiment with using this to fill and sculpt. It ended up turning out pretty interesting. It was very organic looking. It's quite easy to work with. It's very quick. It's quicker than normally the way you use Mod Podge. The results were really interesting. The painting, I had a lot of trouble with the painting. I think probably because I didn't have a strong idea of what I was going to do when I went into it. So I wanted it to kind of be yellow. I've seen lots of really nice minis painted with a mix of sort of yellow and pink. I didn't quite have the right shades, so I was trying to make a gradient of yellow to orange to kind of, I don't know, I wanted the wrinkly flesh folds to look kind of sore and like bruised or maybe in pain or irritated. I think this is just the wrong shades of red and yellow to pull that off. So I'm just heavily watered down orange everywhere. Well, oh, and then here's the really big problem. I used some cheap black acrylic for the hooves and the stinger and the tusks. That really ended up being a problem later. The more I do this, the more I discover that proper modeling paint is essential, really, even if it costs more. Just that with the wash I've been using on all of these projects, I make them in the bottle of the spirit and I reuse that. It's running out kind of now, so I might have to make up some new wash. Dry brush, some nice sort of ivory. Just, it didn't really catch the edges very well. Again, I think this isn't quality mini paint, so it's probably not working quite as well as something more intended for minis would do. Yeah, going over everything again with black. This is the cheap black, red over the orange, just to make it, I don't know, I put the orange as an undercoat to make the red pop more. I think that worked kind of alright, but still I think wrong shades for the look I was going for. It ended up kind of looking a bit like a hot rod, which again, it's not that bad. Glazing, just mixing some glazing medium with yellow paint and going over that ivory again, because the ivory was a bit, it sort of dulled everything down. I wanted it to pop a bit more. And the glazing also made it look very slippery and slimy, like an insect. And here I'm realizing that this black acrylic paint, it just comes off so easily. Like without even trying it, I can rub it off. So I end up getting new paint, some Vallejo black paint, just going over all of the black again with that after rubbing it off clean, back to the grey primer coat. And it goes on so easy as well, this Vallejo paint, and it looks better. So really, lesson learned, I should have started with a proper mini paint. Adding some dark red around this kind of like gum area, just to sort of sell it as being a different part of the body. Doing a bit of experiment with a Posca pen for highlights. Just doing a quick white line and then going over again with the original colour, which will of course be a bit lighter because it's going on top of white. This was pretty interesting. I want to experiment with Posca pens on minis a bit more because I think there's a lot of potential there that's untapped. And that is complete.